Welcome back. Wall Street's opening bell sponsored by Integrated Wealth Management. Let's take a look at some of the numbers today. The Dow, 61 points up. NASDAQ is up almost 7, and the S&P 500 is up almost 10. Great way to start this Thursday morning, no doubt.
Yeah, and we've been seeing a lot of ups and downs in the market, and somebody who's going to help us make sense of it all is Jim Casey. He's joining us live this morning in studio. Jim, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, I'll try to do it.
Yay.
Well, what can you tell us about this recent local bank merger? Is it a good thing? It's a bad thing? I know some customers are probably worried about it.
Yeah, a lot of people are really apprehensive about the issues that their old local bank has now been merged into another bank. But they've got to go back to 2010 and remember that Obama signed into the Dodd-Frank Act and the Consumer Protection Act. And what that did was two things. It raised the limits on uninsured accounts to have no limit of protection by FDIC. So you can have as much money as you want in an uninterest-bearing account and still be protected by the government. And that ceases to exist at December 31st of this year. But on interest-bearing accounts, it also increased it from $100,000 to $250,000 per person per bank. So realistically, if you see your local bank actually be bought up by another bank, it may not be a comforting thing, but you're protected. And we got to talk to those banks and find out how much cash really should you have sitting in those accounts.
So why would a bank do that? Why would a bank sell to another bank? Because it's just bad.
It's just financials. I mean, obviously in the last couple of years with the mortgages and everything that have gone out there, some banks have gotten themselves into a little bit of financial trouble, and the government has regulations on what type of debt to equity ratios they have to have, and they need some assistance from other banks, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit more liquid, to come in and bring them back. So, we see these banks Friday afternoon they're one bank, and then Monday morning they're another one. But for consumers, there's really no interruption. It's again just a different name.
Now, the markets overseas have not been looking so good. Greece and in Europe. How is that impacting us here in the U.S.?
Any time that we're going to start seeing all this, volatility, people feel, start losing a little faith. But we've seen the U.S. markets hold up fairly well, considering the election that happened this past weekend in Europe. And that is starting to, look at the U.S. markets and say, we're doing pretty good. So hopefully, locally and nationally, we got some resiliency to us.
So the customers shouldn't worry.
I say, listen, again, work with someone to figure out $250,000 is a lot of money just sitting in cash. So really look and figure out how much money you should have in cash, how much money should be at each bank, stay within the limits, and stay calm.
So maybe with someone with that type of account or that much in that type of account, what are some good ones to have?
Again, it's got to be per account. Even if you're a joint tenancy account, it's $250,000 per co-owner. So that could be a $500,000 limit. Your IRA has a $250,000 limit, and it is per bank. So we diversify. Don't keep, as much as you love your bank, if you go over $250,000 in an account, you might want to go to another bank, open that up, or again, open a brokerage account, and invest some of that money.
So don't keep all your eggs in one basket.
That's what Mama always told me.
That's good advice there.
We're talking a lot about the banks and B of A. There were several protests yesterday against B of A. Can you kind of explain to us a little bit of what's going on with that whole situation?
Well, there are people protesting all the time, and that's good. I want to hear those voices, but at the same time, B of A is having a program that comes in and can actually reduce the amount of money that you owe on your mortgage if you qualify. So they are putting another program in place that brings back some relief to borrowers, but some people think that's too little too late.
Too late. Well, thank you so much, Jim, for joining us this morning.
You got it.
For more information, you can go to Jim Casey's website at iwmgmt.com if you have any questions or if you want to learn more on how to not put all your eggs in one basket. And we want to say he joins us every Thursday live right here on KMIR 6 Today. And